more people will be joining, or I have to start?
So we can wait 2-3 more minutes, and then at 11 we can start.
All right, all right. You just please confirm if you all can hear me. Just type in the chat box if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Everyone. All right, all right. Okay. So before starting that, I would like to give my introduction to that. I am Nikhil Tripathi, and I am into the field of web development from last 2 years, and currently I'm working as a freelancer. I have tried my hands over other many projects, including technologies like Node.js, React, Angular. Uh, so using these technologies, mainly Node.js and Express, we will be developing an application today. So anybody who knows about Node.js can write in the chat box, or you can unmute as well. Anybody who knows about Node.js, what is it? Anyone? Okay, so Node.js is a runtime environment for JavaScript. So if you have Node.js on your system, you can run your JavaScript code without having running it on the browser. So we know other languages have their own compilers. So you install them and run your code. But for JavaScript, since it is a web language of web, we need browser. So what Node.js provide us is it's the Chrome VS8 engine, and it lets you run JavaScript. So it's basically a JavaScript runtime environment written in C++. Apart from this, it has many good functionalities. So we have a good choice to why we should choose a Node.js framework. So today we will be developing some APIs. I'll be sharing my screen, and then we'll start to code. And if you have any query in between, you can ask and by unmuting yourself, or you can type in the chat box. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, sir. Okay. So currently, this is the app that we will be building. So I'll show you in my browser. So it's visible, right? So this is the app that we'll be building. It's my to-do app. So if I want to add any task, so I can add like go to market. It will just add this into the list. And if I want to delete anything, it will just delete from the application. So what is happening? This is not all handled by the front end task. So here is my server running. So all this task is handled by this server. So anybody who knows how this interaction between a server and client works? Anybody knows? All right. So what happens is like we have two machines. So you can see this is my server running at port number 5000, right? It's running on 5000. If we check my client, it's running on 5500. So they are running on two different ports. Okay. And they are interacting to each other through APIs. So APIs are the main route, we can say, through which they are interacting. So APIs is responsible for their interaction. So what APIs does is, I'll give you a very good example. Suppose you are in a cafe or a restaurant and you order something. Okay, so you call the waiter and say this I want. So waiter takes your request and goes to the kitchen, and it says that this is the request of the client. So you are the client there. So and kitchen is the server. So kitchen accepts your request and it's processed something there, and whatever you want, it gives back to the waiter, and the waiter brings you whatever you have ordered, right? So what in this example is waiter is the API. It's the route, and it's working you it's serving you your request. Okay. And the kitchen is your server. So they are running on two different ports. They are interacting through these APIs. Okay, let's not waste. I'll just stop this server running. It's not running anymore. Let's create a new folder. Let's name it the simple workshop. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so before starting, just make sure you have installed Node.js on your system. You can go to nodejs.org and you can install the recommended version. You can also install the latest version, but I'll recommend you to install this one. And once you are done, you can run the command npm init. What will this do? Oh, sorry. I just created a folder inside that another folder. Let's go back first. Yeah. Okay, so the folder is here. This is the folder. It's empty right now. Let's get into the directory. Workshop and run the command npm init. What it will do, it will initialize your uh, server application. Let's wait for this command to run. Until that, if you have any doubt till now about APIs, about Node.js, you can ask me. It says package name workshop works for us. Version is 1.0.0 works for us. Description is let's create a shopping list. Will be a shopping list. Endpoint will be index.js. Okay. Entry point. Test command we don't have right now. Git repository no keywords. Author will be, let's do my name, Nikhil Tripathi. License is ISC, works for us. Okay, yeah, this is okay, yes. So what happens, it created a package.json folder. If I open, so it has all the required necessary details of our project, okay. Next step is we will install some dependencies. First one is Express. We will be creating our APIs using Express. Another thing I want is NodeMon. So what NodeMon does is it runs our server recursively. We don't, if we make any changes to our code, it won't, it will automatically restart. We don't have to run it again. So NodeMon and okay, we need UUID as well for generating the unique ID for our shopping list items. Okay. Another one is CORS. So CORS is cross-origin resource sharing. So we will be talking to our client through our server. So it will enable us to talk. Okay. Till then, let's create the command in the script. So let's create a start command. It says we are using NodeMon. So NodeMon. We will be creating a server.js file. So it will run. Okay.
Nikhil, I want to ask that do you have any option to increase the font size?
Yeah. Is that visible? I think it's
Yes, I think so. This works.
yeah, okay. So it's installing. So you can see the node module folder is there now. So all the npm package. So npm is node package manager. It will manage all our packages that we install. So it's installing. Till then, we can create our server.js file. So we will be running only this file, and this file will be running everything else. This is our main file. All right. Okay, so once these things will be installed, we need to import them. Yes, first thing is Express. What Express does, it uses HTTP module or pre-built module of Node.js and helps us to create our APIs. And next thing, we will be needing our course that we have installed. Okay, and let's have our UUID for generating unique IDs. And let's create a variable shopping list. So we are not using an external database. We will be temporarily storing this in a shopping list array. So right now it's empty. Okay. Let's create our app, server app using Express. Okay. And app.use. Express.js. All right. If anybody having any doubt, you can ask. No one is having any doubt. All right. So we are creating our application using server, this app. So we need to make it listen to some port, as we see in the previous example. So we will be making it to listen at some port. Let's run it at 5,000. It's take the port number, and second argument it takes is a function. We will be passing a callback function. So it will be done. So once it's done, we say console.log. Server started listening at port 5,000. It's taking time, I think. I'll just install it. Yes, it's installed. Cool. So this is the file. Let's save it. And let's run our command npm start that we write in the package.json. So it will run our server.js file with the node module. Till then, we can start building our API. So let's first use the get method. So for APIs, I'll tell you, we have 4 methods. First one is get, another is post. Next we have is delete, and then we have put. So these are the main 4 methods. Get will get you all your data. Post will help you to create a new entry in the database or will post your data. Delete has the normal meaning. It will delete the data, and put will update your data or edit your data. Okay. So first we will be creating our get API. Before that, you can see when I run this command npm start, it says nodemon server.js, which I write in my package.json file, the script I wrote. So npm start is running this nodemon server.js, and this is yeah. So when I run this, my server is listening, so my code is running fine. And if I make any change, suppose this change, and I save the file again. So it says nodemon is restarting the server due to changes. So this is the work of nodemon. App.get. So whenever I'm writing slash data, so whenever the client hit this particular URL, so this particular route will be called. And since this is the HTTP protocols, it uses request and response model. So we have 2 arguments. Here is one is request and another one is response. And then we call this callback function. So this is an asynchronous request, and this is where the main role of Node.js comes. It handles the asynchronous request in an event loop. What does it mean? That if I'm having so many requests from a client, you are using a website and I'm also using it, Surbi is also using it, Earth is also using it. So what happens is either Surbi has to wait or I have to wait to process the Earth's request, right? So what Node.js will do, it will accept all the requests and will call the callback functions asynchronously. So when my request is being resolved, so I'll get my response, and when Surbi's request is resolved, she will get her response. All right. So currently what we have to do is we will be sending our response whenever this comes in a JSON format. JSON, we have to send the shopping list, which is currently empty. Before that, let's try if our API is working with just a normal rest.send. API working fine. Okay, let's save it. So this is a VS Code extension, Thunder client. It will help you test your APIs. It's just taking time. Okay. We can test it on our browser as well. I have installed this service state Chrome extension. We can use this if this Thunderbolt. Yeah, it's yeah. Let's create a new request. So we have HTTP. Since the server is running on localhost and the port number is 5000 and the URL we created is data. So we will be sending our response and it says status 200 okay, and we got API working fine. The data we sent from our server, right? This is what we send. So our server is working fine. Our first API, we have successfully built our first API. We will be sending this data. Let's create our other APIs and we will test our server and then we'll move to our our client machine. App.post, next thing we will be creating. Let's keep the same URL and let that express distinguish between whether it's a get request or post request. Similarly, we will have again a callback function which have two arguments. And while posting, we will be just doing a push since this is an array. And if you're using a database, you can run your query inside these controller functions. Dot push. Okay. So we will be using ID, which will help us to uniquely identify each items in the shopping list. Okay. So for generating unique IDs, we will be using our UUID that we installed earlier. And it has a function v4, which will help us do this and have this item, which we will be getting from our client machine, which will be in the request body, request.body.item. So this is it. Okay, so once this is done, let's send the data back to the some acknowledgement message to the client, which says a message that item added successfully. Cool. Okay, and for deleting, we will be creating a route again. It will be a delete for same route. But for deleting, we will need the ID. So let's pass the ID in the URL itself by specifying a column before the ID. It says it's a variable, not a string or the URL. It's not. It's a part of the URL as a variable. So we can access it in the request function, request argument. So request itself, it's request response, gain a call the function, and yes, to delete the from shopping list, what we will do, we'll filter out the complete array. So let's have shopping.filter, filter function. Filter function has three arguments. First, let's say it's item. Item will be each element denoting it has index and the array itself. And we will just return if item dot id is not equal to the id that we have is coming from the front end. Rect dot parents, it's a parameter, parents dot id. So to access this variable, we use rect dot parents. This is rect dot parents and the name of the variable. Cool. And we send a success message to our client, which says message item deleted successfully. Okay, all right. To make you more clear picture of how the response comes, let's console it so we all can see. Console.raw rec.body, and in this, okay, all right. I think it's all good. Save it. Okay, and let's have a new request. We just made the script request, right? Okay. So we will be making a post request, and the parameters will be not, we are not sending query, the header, it is content type. We are sending the JSON data, so it's application.json, and we'll send in the body an object. So we are sending an item only. So let's say I want to add the milk to my shopping list. Okay, so let's send the data. Okay, it says an error, something went wrong. Shopping list is not defined. Okay, shopping list. Okay, it's a spelling error. Yeah, restarting. Yeah, it says item added successfully, and we got in the console what is sent by the client machine. This the request we made in the JSON, and it's added. Let's make a get request now. If we get the data, so we got a ID. This ID is generated by UUID, and we got the item. Let's add one more item. This time let's say it's a bread, and the item is added, and make a get request. So we got two items. One is milk, another one is bread. Okay. Let's test the get delete API as well. I'll just copy this ID to delete it, since we will be needing to. We need the ID to delete it, right? So we will. So this will be treated as that rec.parents.id variable, and I'll just select this delete. Okay, again got the error. What's the error? Shopping list is not defined. I made spelling error everywhere. Let's restart the server. Since I'm restarting the server and this is an empty array, I need to add the items again. So let's first add them. Just added. Let's add one more thing. Let it be cookies. Item added. Let's get it. So I got two items. Let's copy it. Yeah. Okay, again, shopping list is not defined. I just changed it. Somewhere I have not changed. Okay, my bad. Let's check the all spellings are fine. I think it's fine. Yeah. Sorry for this. Okay, let's add them. Game cookies. We'll get request. We got this. delete request and then send. Yeah, it says item deleted successfully. And let's make a get request again to check if it is updated or not. Okay, sorry, I'm passing this ID. That's why it gave me error. Okay, so that milk is deleted from this. I think we have successfully completed our server side coding. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I'll just make a walkthrough again. Okay, so I just forgot to use the course. Let's add that too. It will give us error while we will be making a request from the front end. So course. Okay. So first what we did, we import Express, we import course, we import UUID, we created our empty shopping list. Then we created our application using Express, and then we added two middlewares. These are middlewares. These are called middlewares. So what middlewares are? What happens is, so this is not my request, right? So I can find add some middlewares in the request middleware. It's just an example. I have not created anything called middleware right now. So what it does, the request comes as soon as this URL hits, it goes to this middleware, and then all the function it has in between. And at the end, it went to this last function, last callback function. So right now we have not this. We are using these two middlewares. So it goes to first course and then it goes to express.json. What course is doing? It's a cross-origin resource sharing. So it will help us interact from a client machine. Okay. And what this express.json is doing? It's converting this data into this JSON format, helping us to identify the type of data. Okay. Then we have the get request to get all the data. And then we are having a post request. It's helping us to post the data. And it's the delete. We are deleting the data by filtering our array. And we are sending the message back. And our app is listening on the port number 5000. All right, we are done with this shopping list server code. Now we can create our client folder as I showed had in my previous example. We have three files: HTML, JavaScript, and the client, a CSS file. Let's create a folder client. I hope you guys are not having any doubt. If you have, you can ask.
Hi, so we have one question in the chat box.
Okay.
That Mr. Abhisar is asking that what is 200 OK status? What if the website not responds? Do we get the same 200 OK?
Okay. So since if you notice that I had made a spelling mistake and at that time it gave me 500 error. Okay, so 200 means that my API is working fine. That it's an OK message that whatever request I have made, it says that it is successfully fulfilled. And if I get the error message from the 400 range, suppose 401, it means I'm not able to get the response. I'm unauthorized. It will get unauthorized access. And if I got 404, it's the error message not found, that whatever I'm requesting, I didn't get it. The server didn't get it. And for 500, it's a server error. Something went wrong in the server, like the spelling error. So it's error that I made, the programmer made. So it says the 500 port, the server error. Abhisar, I think it's clear now. You won't get the same status every time. Abhisar is here. Okay. Let's create our HTML file. Okay, so this is the template of HTML that we have. We have a doc type HTML file. This is the, we are using HTML5, language is English. This is the metadata which helps us to know which type of HTML files this is. This is the encrypting UTF-8, like we are converting it into some encryption, the code. Uh, and this metadata will help us to make the page responsive. I think we don't need this, so this is a simple message, or we can also keep this. This is not harming us. Let's name it shopping app. Okay. And inside we will have a div, and let's give it a class. Continue. Let's have another div. So here we will be listing all the items that we have. Give it a class. List container. Also, let's give one heading. One here. We can say my shopping list. All right. Then let's create a div form to enter the list items. One input field which has type text. And let's give it a ID item and a placeholder add item. Let's give a button. So submit type button. Okay. Type submit and let's say it says add. Okay, on submit, we will be calling some function. Return say post data. We will create post data in our JavaScript file. Okay, so also link our CSS file that we will be creating. Href will be let's say style dot css. Okay. Okay, it's okay. This, let's give it a class to this as well. Form maybe. All right, I think this looks good. Okay, let's add our script file. We will be creating script.js. So this is done. Save. Let's create our first style sheet. Style.css. So I am using a Chrome extension, live server. So if I run this file using the live server, yeah, Just open this on my port, and you can see I am having a h1 tag, the shopping list, and the add item. This won't work because I have not linked anything. I have not written the JavaScript code. All right, let's style this. Okay. All right. Okay, so first we had the container. Let's give it a margin first. Maybe from upside to rem and auto. To rem is for top and bottom, and auto for the left and right side. And let's give it a width. For maybe 30 rem. We are using a fixed width. Okay, and a background color. Okay, let's use some shades of blue. Okay, let's use brown. Just to save. Yeah, you can see this is now in center. Okay. Then we have our H1 heading. So we can give it a color white. And let's align it to the center. Down. Then we have our shopping list container. Let's give it an ID because we will be using in our JS file as well. We have list container. Okay, so we will be making it scrollable. So overflow auto, and yeah, that's fine. I think this much is fine as of now. Then we have our form class. Let's make it margin. Top maybe 1 rem. Let's give some padding. 1 rem is fine. Okay. And then we have our input field. Let's give it a width. 80%. And yeah, padding left will be, let's say, 5 pixel. Okay, and margin right. Margin right will be 0.5 rem. Let's use the button that we have used. A button. Let's give it a background color. What will work for this? Let's use black. Okay, and color white. All right. Also the height, let it be 3 rem, and let's also fix the height of the input. 2 rem. Let's save this. Okay, you can see. Okay, let's increase the height of the button a bit. So that's as input. Yeah, it looks same. Also, let's set its width to 15%. I think it's okay, it's overflowing. Let it be 10%. Yeah. Make it 12. Okay, it's fine now. Okay, let's move to our script.js file, and rest of the CSS we'll code later when we have more divs or less. Okay, so first of all, let's create the get data function. We will be using fetch to get our to make our calls to our APIs. HTTP. We were running our local host 5000, and the URL was data. Okay, so this will be fetching our data. So this fetch returns a promise, and for promise promise has two things. One is accept and reject. So when the promise is accepted, it goes into the then block, and if it is rejected, it goes into the catch block. Like we can add the catch block as well, like this. But since fetch fails only due to technical issues, we are not writing the catch block. We'll just write the then function. Let's have a rest in a function, and let's return rest.json. So this rest.json also returns a promise. So we will using another then this data. So whatever it returns, it's cached by this then block in the data. And let's console it. Console.log. All right, then call get data. Okay. All right. Similarly, let's write the post function, post data function. Okay. And write this fetch again. Let me copy this. Now we will be passing one more parameter to it to tell which kind of request is this. First is method, which is post in our case. Next is headers. If you remember, we set content type to application/JSON. Okay, and then we will be sending the body. body has one thing item, and for item we will be sending okay, let's import this input, whatever we have in the input field of our form. So document dot get element by id. It was item. I remember it was item. Yeah, so id was item of this input. So item, and let's say input dot value. Okay, so we won't directly pass this as the, we will be converting this into this string, and then our server will be converting into the JSON again. That middleware we use. Stringify. Okay. It also returns this what's giving error. Okay. We have to stringify the complete body. Yeah. It also returns the promise. We'll have it at then whatever response we get, and we'll again return the same thing, rest of JSON, and again dot then the data, and we'll console it. Our server is restarting. Till then we go to our application. We can check in our inspect. Let's make sure we have this post data. We have added in the, yeah, it says having post data. We have called get data. All right. So yeah, we run that get data. It says the array is 0 length. If you remember at the end of our file, I have called the get data function. And if I say whose milk is added, and we can add. So it says, it gives me an ID. ID is added. It's an empty response. It's not task, it's item. That's why it's empty. Yeah. Okay. So currently it's an empty array. If I say milk, add milk. So again, oh, it's happening in this. Uh, all right, it's refreshing the page and we are getting an empty data. So let's do one thing. E.prevent default. It will prevent us from reloading our page and just return false. Okay, let's check it again. It's giving us error again. Something went wrong. Okay, let's check the code somewhere, but we have made mistake. Okay, we have made a spelling error here. Content type. I think everything else is fine. Okay. Yeah, this should work now. Screen for prevent default, I think, for a second. Let's try removing this. Here. Okay. Yeah, it says now item added successfully. And if we check our console, it says item list that we have sent from our port number 5500, and the 5500 has got from port number 5000 is item added successfully. All right, this is working fine. Okay, now we can create our delete function, and then we will move on to displaying our list. It's delete data, and it's also getting a parameter ID because we need ID to delete an item, right? Let's copy the code because it will be mostly same. Okay, copy. Yes. Instead, here we will be having an ID. Shop plus ID, and the request will be delete. Okay, and we are not sending any body and anything else. I think will work. Yes. Cool. Okay, let's create our now new function for displaying the list. Let it be function create list, and before that, let's call it where list from document dot get element by ID. So the list we name is, the ID of the list was list container. List container. Okay. And in the list, we will be having the data. We will be passing. All right. Cool. Let's create a div equal document dot create element. We are creating our div type element. Let's make a for loop. Let I equals 0 and it will run till data dot length and plus x. So for every div, for every item, we need some two elements. One is a p tag and another one a button, that cross button. Okay, so let's make it var p equal document dot create element p. Okay, let's keep it inside because we are creating diff for each data, right? Keep it inside. And another is the button document dot create element. I'll keep it a div type and then we'll add a click event plus a click event to this div. Okay, so button dot inner HTML, we can add a cross. This is okay, and then button dot set attributes. Let's give it a class for styling. We can add styles, btn, and then an ID, set attribute. ID I'm giving so that we can uniquely identify each item to be deleted. Data.id. Okay, and then we have this p. Inside p, we will be having p dot in HTML, whatever data dot item we have. And yeah, I think it's done. Then we can append and this dev dot append child p, dev dot append child button, and let's give it a class as well, dev dot set attribute class for styling list item. Okay, and at the end of the for loop, whatever we have this list, we will append this div, append child. Okay, so move it inside the for loop. Yeah. So we created a div, then we created a paragraph, then we created a button. We added text X in the button, then we added class and ID to our button, ID for uniquely identifying it and class for styling. And inside P, we entered our data, and for we appended both the child to our div that we have created and set the class to it. And then finally, we appended our child, this div to our list, that list we have. And for everything, let's have this list dot inner HTML. Whatever the text it has will be empty. Cool. All right, I think this will work. And this we will be called in the the create list data. All right, let's save it. This should work. Okay, if I add mail, I didn't got this inside my list. I have by ID. Okay, yeah. Let's call the get data here as well, because after every post we need the data, whatever we have added, right? So currently it's are not defined. Let's clear it up. We will restart. Okay. We have milk. Why it's having undefined image? It has milk, right? Yeah. It's data.item. Okay, okay. It's an ith element. We are traversing through our array. Similarly here. So it's added and there is a button, cross button, it's added. Okay, let's make add some queue style. We have this list container and then we have list item class. Let's make it display flex and background color to be white and text color to be black. Okay, justify content, space between, space between. Okay, this is like this. Let's add some margin. Margin 100. Okay, so we have this. If I add another, red, so it will look something like this. All right, cool. Let's have the tree tag that we have added. Let's just have some margin of padding to only left, yeah. Left just from there. Yeah, it's now fixed. And then we have the BTN class that we added to the button. Let's fix this width to 1.2 rem and then height border radius to 50% to make it a circle, and background color red. Okay, then color white. Color white. text align center. Yeah. Okay. Also in this, we will have align item center. This will make it to the center. Yeah, they are in center. Also, we can have padding here, padding to the 0 and 1 rem. Yes, this looks fine. Okay. Also one thing, dot .ptn dot cover cursor point value. So whenever we hover over this will be a point. And this is in the inspect Chrome's web developer tools, so it won't show. Okay, this looks good, right? The only task left is to delete the item, and then we have successfully built our shopping list card. Also at the margin to this or padding in the container itself. Yeah, more better. Let's make it more. Yeah. Okay, then create another function. Let's create a function add event. Okay, let's call close buttons. Close document dot query selectors, because we have so many buttons. We have the ID BPN, right? And then we can do close dot for each button. For each button, what we have to do, button dot add event listener. It will be a click event, and then we will be passing function, and we will call our delete post delete data, and we will be passing the ID to it. Dot ID. Okay. After deleting, I also need to get data. Okay. Click event is not working. Delete it. Okay, I have not called that function. Sorry, 96. Add event. Okay. Let's add milk. It is added, and if I delete, this is deleted. Tool works fine. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Anyone? One more thing I would like to do here is if data.len is 0. Yeah, equals to 0. We will just set list dot inner HTML2 no items no item in the list. Who else we will be calling that function. So currently says no item. No item. Also, let's give some style to this as well. In the list container, right? Okay. Text align center and color white. Oh, it's not applied, right? All right, let's check what is wrong. We are applying to list container. Okay, the spelling is there is spelling error. Container. Yeah, it's now yeah. So I can add milk, and then I can add bread.
Sorry, hi Nikhil.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that we have another speaker lined up at once, so we might want to wrap up a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost done. It's done. Our application is done. If anyone is having any doubt, they can ask. It's just I'm adding in the list. We have added milk, we have added breads, and we can add cookies. So it's added here this. And if we want to delete, we can delete the cookie as well. So you can see we are getting the message in the console as well from the backend. If anyone is having any doubt, you can ask. No one is having any doubt? All right, let's wrap it up then, if you have no doubts. Cool. I'll just go through the code once again so you can get a complete overview what we did till now. So we started with the Node.js discussion about APIs, what they are, and then we created our server with the three APIs. One is get, then post, and then delete API. And then we successfully started our server. Then we went to our client machine. We created 3 files, one for HTML. We write some code to implement our form and then display the list. And then we styled our application using CSS. And then we moved to the script file. And then we created 3 functions, which is get data, post data, and then delete data. And we call 3 of them and displayed our list, create list to display them in our browser. And then we added add event function to delete the items on every button. So this is the outcome. And if you have any query, you can ask me right now. And if you don't have, so Shubhi, I had to give them the task for web development.
We give them what?
A task for the workshop.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we created this my shopping list. So all the attendees can make their own application. So you have to create a contact list similar to this. And since I take only one attribute, that is items, you can take two, the username and the phone number. Okay, and just display this in the browser. Okay.
So it is a contact list. Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a contact list.
Yeah, so basically, it's a contact list with phone number, name, and email address.
Yeah, if you can add any of the details, but the name and the phone number is necessary.
So challenge is to make using Node.js, and you can add any attributes. I will also send an email about this, and we can send you the recording as well, guys, so you can have a look at the recording and just change basically the text so that it looks like a contact list.
All right.
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed it.
How do I do the gallery? Yeah.
Yes, it was really amazing.
Yeah. And I think it was detailed as well. So people can, if people want, they can have a look at the recording and just go over everything again.
All
And
right.
then you can do the contact list. But Nikhil, you can give me a little bit more details about the challenge so that people can just look at it. And
Okay. Okay. I'll create a document regarding it. Will it be fine?
yeah, that'll be great. And then I'll send them over email. And then next week, you guys can just, this week, you can sit and work on the challenge. And next week, when we come back, you would have time to basically showcase your results and everything, because next week is going to be the last
Yeah.
week
Yes.
we have.
Yes.
So on the last date, we are going to announce the winners. So if you guys can have a look at the challenge and implement the UX and the web development so that you have a good design as well as you have some functionality of it. So that would be good
Right.
if you can implement that. And where will we have to submit this challenge? You can email it to me. I'll just send my email. What I'll do is I'll send an email after this, tonight. I'll send an email in which we have the recording of Nikhil's session, and you can basically send me an email on my email address. I will, like, you can just reply to my email I sent, and you can send a link to your specific design challenge, or even a screenshot will do. Anything which you feel is comfortable, just do that.
Okay.
And people can send it to me. I can send it to Nikhil also, and if Nikhil wants, he can decide the winner. And I think that would be one good way of assessing how you guys learned, how much you guys learned out of it, and just even participation. I think it would be good to have that.
Right.
Send code. It really depends. Like last time when we had the gaming booster, I can.
So for this, I can suggest you can upload your code on the GitHub and you can directly share your GitHub link.
Yes, I have a GitHub repository of GitHub GirlScript. I'll just share that link right now. If you guys want, I can create an open repository in which people can upload their stuff. And then I can email that as well. I'll email it.
Or we can also create a Google form. I think that will be better. People can just directly give their repository link.
Oh, yeah, that is a nice one. Google Form is nice. Okay, I'll do that. Also, with regards to Google Form, I have another Google Form which I need to send everybody. It's regarding the attendance. So, if you guys want, please just stay on the call, and I'll send you this link here so that you can fill this form just to make sure that I know who is attending and who is not. And I'll also send this form in the email, but just fill it if you can as soon as possible. And that's just a better way to keep track of people who are attending. There's another session which is going to happen at 1 o'clock. So if you guys want, you can just stay on this link or just go and come back, whatever suits you. But thank you so much, Nikhil. It was great.
Yes, thank you, Sardi.
And yeah, I hope you have a great day ahead. All right, then, everyone. I'll see you at 1.